Welcome to today's collective reading. We'll open with a bit of resonance to clear the energy, and it resonates to the tone of the third eye to heighten the intuition. We'll begin clearing with the kyanite and selenite to align the energies and elevate them, that only the messages of the highest and greatest good may come through for the collective that is tuning in. All my channel messages are timeless, so when you encounter them, there may be something in here for you. What does my collective need to know today about what's weighing on their mind? Okay. We have the Story Keeper, number 2. The background today being this blue fire, it's a cleansing and communication. Very potent. And the Story Keeper, it's about how you choose to write your story. And everything that has been in your story up till now. All your memories, all of your instincts, and where you are in this moment. You can't throw out everything you know about yourself leading up to this moment. So you have to know yourself more and more and more in order, like thoroughly, in order to begin to create a different narrative, one that's more desirable. But it doesn't just switch, right? So like there's a pressure you feel to meet, that you feel to meet this expectation that you become radically other than what you are. So this is weighing heavily on you, and you're sitting there at the page deciding how you want this to play out. And you're a bit like, well, what the... Okay. So, actually, I want it like this. So we have the Page of Swords in the upright and the Seven of Wands in the upright. And this side is about your higher self asking you to acknowledge this about yourself, that you have discovered and studied your truth. And you're very defensive and incredibly protective of this. You're assertively acting in that way. You are protective of all of this history that is you, that you know of yourself. You are very protective of yourself. And anyone that wants to come into your inner library and mess around with who you are, what your truth is, should be met with a, hey, what are you doing? Who do you think you are to be here? So this is something being highlighted in the receptive aspect. So let's go a layer deeper here. What does your higher self want you to know? And another layer down here. Guidance, synchronicities, a little more detail into this. How you... Okay, so we have the Five of Wands in the upright. Maintaining balance through what you see as ridiculous obstacles that should not be there at all. Yet, there they are. Whew, that flew out. Okay, so this is a planned thing by your higher self, and there is a very... This image is deceptive. It looks like it's a leisure day. Right? Like everything about it says, I ain't going nowhere fast. Like I'm going to take my sweet time. I'm not doing anything. Like I don't even have my shoes on. But he's got a trick up his sleeve and he's looking, he's watching. And so is his horse, his dark horse. This is someone this is someone that you know or that you yourself are that everybody thought was down for the count. The underdog, the maverick. They have a trick up their sleeve. And they are watching and they are waiting. And your own higher self, this is part of that plan. Now, these ridiculous obstacles, like, what? Why is this even here? Why do we, is this something that's still a thing that we're needing to deal with? Or, like, there's more here for sure. Okay, so this is no longer a thing of what cup do I pick? What cup do I choose? It's been chosen. So this may be playing out right now. And this concept of this heavy burden is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. You're kind of at that moment possibly right now because you're just like, what are you doing? Who do you, what? Where you're like, look, step up, or what is it? Sit up or shut down. Sit up or shut down. That's funny. That was a like speak up or sit down kind of a thing, like shit or get off the pot kind of a deal. Like, what are you gonna do here? Okay, so we have memories that are coming to light, seeds that have been planted, things are starting to be given to. You have a more assertive energy here, which can also be masculine. It could be a man or a woman in assertive energy. A masculine energy giving to this. And they want to give equally, give and receive equally. You want that. And you should have that. You should have that. So this is all about your history, all about everything that you know of yourself till right now, and how are you writing this story? And it comes down to, are you in love with yourself? Do you love yourself enough that if someone is not going to give this to you, they're not going to equally give and take, if someone is not going to do this, that you will walk away? That you will not tolerate less than equal work, equal investment, equal time. This is upright, meaning that this is a priority, and these seeds, these memories within yourself and within possibly an energy outside of yourself with the Lover's card here is remembering. Okay, they want me to go into the assertive side. Okay. They being like my guides, your guides, everyone who is tuning in now. Whoop, we have the Two of Cups in the inverted. Okay, I have a cat who is just being adorable. He wants to come up here and lay down on the cards, I'm sure. So Two of Cups inverted. Since we had two on the other side, I'm going to grab two for this. Now that one hot. So this is very important right now. Assertively, it's looking like this is not something that you're feeling. It is not something that you're feeling. And it's weighing on you because you're not down with how things are currently playing out. And then we have the Four of Cups on its side, which means it could be in transition from being upright or inverted to the opposite. The base here is the Two of Cups. Now, this deck does surprise me some still, so I'm going to make sure I get you those synchronicities from the guidebook. All right, so the Two of Cups inverted. You feel like you are rejected. You feel like you're not in a state of being, you know, it's not reciprocated. But your intuition, all of this screams at you that it is. But everything else says no. 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 You are experiencing, if you're in it, like, if you are stating in your assertive energy, in your masculine energy, what you're giving to, that you feel like you're in an unrequited situation, that you feel rejected, you're saying, I don't believe this, and I don't feel that this is a thing, and sure, right. That's what's got you, like, you're feeling a skepticism to this, because this is somewhatly in play of unfolding, but I got that for a reason. So if it's in the upright, moving to being inverted, so the reverse, you're bored with this and you're tired of being alone. You're tired of being isolated, waiting, or, you know, delaying everything for this to finally click in. There's a definite frustration here with that. If it's moving from reverse to upright, it's rest and meditation. So do what you need to do to maintain this balance of holding on to all of this versus hanging out, just waiting around, bored, right? Okay, so we're gonna go a layer down here. What does my collective here tuning in need to know? Another layer down here with this energy of feeling rejected, feeling bored and isolated, and not really seeing any action that backs up this, you know, very like positive intuition coming in. And I think it has something to do with that pressure to write yourself as someone you're not, to just disregard all of the knowledge that you have of yourself up till this moment, as though it's not a thing. So what do we have going here, guys, for synchronicities, guidance, highlights, and energy? Okay, we got quite a bit there. So we're gonna, okay, we got the King of Swords, we have the Nine of Wands, and the Ace of Cups in the inverted. So what you're perceiving is a King of Swords that's kind of in a toxic state. Like, they're just so stonewall in their decision, and they're curt, and they're blunt, and they're cold. It's like their light is turned off. Their empathy is not a thing. Like, this person comes across as though they have no emotion. And they're not defensive of any bright future in any way, shape, or form. And what love? What emotion? It's been upturned. And if that is not the case, this is toxic water. This is poison. Wow, okay. That's brutal. Okay, so we're gonna do a new layer here. So this King of Swords, that pretty narcissistic comment, like they came across pretty narcissistic. They've had the light flipped on, and they're terrified of what they're finding inside themselves, and they're aware that there is another in there with them that's being exposed to this. Whether you resonate as the feminine form or the masculine form, this is the individual. These two here, this is that mind, that shared mind. This is their mind being turned on, and they're realizing that there is a feminine form here, a receptive energy that has been in this whole thing with them the entire time, and they were oblivious to this boogeyman being there, basically pulling their strings. So this would be divine intervention, turning that light on. Okay. So what do we need to know about this going forward? Okay, that kind of hopped. We have a Knight of Pentacles in the inverted. Clearly what I got from this is that it's not content with being slow and methodical. It's recognizing the need to not be so guarded, because if it is, everything here, all of this becomes untruth. Yet this is your receptive take on what's weighing on your mind and on your heart and writing your story. This is all of you coming to the table. And if they do not move in a faster fashion, their whole world will be gone. They won't inherit the world, in other words. I almost said in other worlds. They won't inherit this world or another. Wow. We have the King of Pentacles inverted, because the King is not giving to this. The King of Pentacles is not giving to this. He's sitting there staring at the pentacle. Do I give or do I not give? Do I give or do I not give? Do I give or do I not give? And he just doesn't move. Wow, that flipped. There's not a passionate movement forward. And this is all with, like, is this the energy? Like, here, is this the energy of that boogeyman there? If this card is upright, then it's yes. If it's inverted, then it's no. Okay, yes. And that was the Emperor. So that Emperor card is very like, this is the boogeyman. Here, the boogeyman does not want to give you an offer. And you're feeling this. You're aware of this. You are incredibly tapped in. So you're aware of all of this that you're bringing. And they're not giving, and they're like, you know what, I think that the grass is greener on this side. They're not in a hurry to get out of where they're at. Now, if they are this like skeletal reaper, boogeyman entity looking like thing trapped in this, or that was afflicting this side of it, why would they want this side to be happy and have all this stuff, like, you know, all this good stuff, right? Of course they wouldn't want that. So they're in negative. All right, well, I don't want to include them in this reading, okay? We get this. They're toxic, they're horrible. They've been impacting, you know, this other energy outside of yourself in a very negative way. And you've been picking up on both sides of it. So I don't want to channel that ick, right? Like, we know enough about that. So what do you have anything you want us to know about this side of it, other than, hey, the light's been switched on, they're giving to these positive memories, they're aware that they need to move fast because they're losing everything if they don't move. It's almost like they've been stuck, stalled, stagnant. But that light is there. That light is turned on. Okay, so we have the High Priest coming in. So they're getting guidance from the divine, their higher self, spirit, source, balancing. It's divinely guided. Like, he's got the two fingers up. Like, hey, don't give the credit to me. It's all about the big guy upstairs. And this is a lack of, like, fret and fuss and worry while sleeping. So they're gaining a lot of this information, learning a lot of this while they sleep. Okay. Do you have anything else you would like to share with us here? Because they do want to make this offer. Okay. I get the feeling like this is pretty recent. Okay. If this is something that just happened and you're being asked to sit and just wait, the card that I will show here will be upright. If this is something that you're not being asked to sit and stall and wait, but to let it unfold in kind of a more natural way without just being like, I'm done and taking off, it'll be inverted. Yeah. Okay, so this is, and that was the Knight of Cups too. So inverted, don't slam the door. Don't cut ties. This is in process, but it's not going to be some long, drawn out thing that will take a decade, you know, something ridiculous and sarcastic means it's in the process. They're aware that you feel this way. They're aware that this has been your impression. Your interaction has been with this boogeyman, this skeleton wearing a black cloak. That's who's been at the control. And they've come across like this narcissistic, sociopathic, cold, uncaring, toxic, like all of that. No. This individual, this is their mind, and it's been being controlled by this being. They're in control now. The divine is there, hanging out, helping them. They're where they can't sit and do nothing. They have to do the work, or the world will not, they won't inherit it. But the divine has come in and they're helping them out. Okay. So I see why this has been weighing on you guys. This is pretty heavy stuff here. And it's all around how you're writing your story. And like the two sides here are so contrasting. No wonder why you're like here. Oh, and be confused and frustrated. This is positive. This is very like, wait, what happened? And when is this? And how is this? And who? And oh my gosh. And it's intense. Very intense. So I'm going to do the emotional state, which will include like intuition as well. And then I'll go into the physical next. So these are seeming to be the way that I'm being led to kind of do these readings. So, you know, I'm asking, I'm being guided to use a different deck here for this part. For the emotional aspect. What does my collective need to know here about the emotional intuitive aspect here? What does my collective need to know? Okay, they want me to do one from this and one from another. So I'll leave one out there. The deck is very, the cards are very sticky. So I have to pull like that. What do we need to know here, guys, for the collective tuning in? Okay. So for the heart space, the emotion, the intuition, we have number 21 and number 31. Interesting. So 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a counting. It's an ascending. It's counting up to Trinity and foundation. So the key to intimacy, intimate love is a core need to be met in relation to ourselves and those closest to us. The journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not. Solitude, alone but not lonely. You guys have been through a lot. It's pretty much the gist here. This has been a very, very trying experience. And it's not one-sided. I mean, you gathered what was going on this side. That has got to be terrifying to live that, right? Absolutely terrifying. To be on this side and be aware of it. Okay, so, ooh. What do we have here for the emotional aspect? Guidance from the more receptive aspect to the higher self, as well as your guardians and your guides, your ancestors. What would they like to highlight for you in the receptive? Okay. How full is your cup? Are you taking care of you? Are you nurturing you? And then we have the 3 of Cups. Because this is co-created. It's co-created. You, another, like if you're looking at this purely from within yourself, you have your own inner assertive energy when you act towards something, when you make a decision and you get it done. That part of you, and then you have the receptive, the part of you that's just at peace and good with being nurturing and caring and loving of yourself and others around you? What are you receptive to receiving? And what are you acting towards from a loving space? The third energy here is the divine. It's the divine. It's that bit of something that we just can't put into words because it's so far beyond our experience. We try. Humans try. We really, really try. Because it's so real to us. Okay. So, what do we need to know here? Layered down with the receptive. Being that we have gone through a lot, we've become very aware of everything that love is not. And everything that love actually is. Love is the only thing that is real, that is true. It doesn't matter what species you're from. You can see mourning. You can see nurturing and caring in animals, other people. Doesn't matter if you know their language or their culture. You can tell when they're experiencing things that are emotional. Now, if you expand that out to, more than likely there are alien civilizations somewhere, and they have their whole own pantheon of animals. That is something that crosses every boundary. Sentient beings can recognize when there is love present in interaction. Even if they don't understand it, it causes them to be curious about it at the very least. What was that? What is that? What's that about? You're very aware of what love is and what it is not because of the experiences in your story till now. So we have the Eight of Cups and the inverted. Death and rebirth and the Six of Wands. All right, so Eight of Cups and the inverted. What do you need to know about that card in particular? What is the collective tuning in not walking away from? What are they not transmuting? Ooh, you guys are not willing to walk away from what you see as your Ten of Cups. And how you view your story being written. Your Ten of Cups is like your dream. It's what your heart sings to the universe, sends out in vibration. And the universe really is all that exists and thus is the divine. It's a very powerful resonance. And you are in this state of alignment here. You are creating this. You are tapped in. This is the world that you want, and you're not willing to walk away from that. Okay, so you're not willing to walk away from that. What do we need to know about this death and rebirth thing here? Like, legitimately. Ha. It's because you didn't put the Pentacles as your top priority, and thus there's not communication. So there's an ending here because there's a misperception from a King of Wands. Yeah, a King of Wands. Wow. Wow. This is what you're getting intuitively. This is what your connection with yourself, with your inner divine is telling you. All right, so what do we need to know? Like, if it's more about this King of Wands still, if he's still got something he wants to say, because, I mean, this relates to what came through earlier with where your mind was at. This is why you feel rejected, because you're not loaded, thus not worthy of love. What? If you're not loaded, I'm not going to talk to you? Like, that's not a divine partner. That's someone who is working from ego. So what do we need to know here? Because you have a Six of Wands. You are recognized. You are like a star. If this is not in the physical, it's in the spiritual. Like, they already know what you're going to become along your path. They already know where you're going. Yet this individual here is like, no, you don't have any money. I'm not talking to you. Nope. Not doing it. Wow. That's kind of like a snooty attitude there. That was interesting. Why are you guys having me channel that? So sassy. Okay, you want me to do it that way? All right, cool. Okay. You're not confused anymore, and you're not listening to just any voice coming into your mind. And this concept that if you don't listen, well, someone in the background will pay a price. That's, you know, like this little red on the snow back here. The concept that this individual would be harmed if you did not continue to listen to the negative self-talk, the criticism, the, well, if you don't do this, then that, and, well, you know, like, this will happen if you don't say this here, or, you know, those kinds of things. You're not open to that. You see it as illusion, all of it. All of it's illusion. You're not giving to it, and it's part of why you're moving into that. Okay. And because of that, you're not experiencing an ending. You're not experiencing a tower. You are not having your home lit on fire in order to make space for new beginnings, because you've done the shadow work. You've done the shadow work. You have created balance between both sides of your own energy, your assertive and your receptive energy within yourself, and that is being reciprocated on the outside. So there is a huge dissonance between these two. What is the deal with that? How do they not see this? We need a little on this King of Wands, because they came through very ego-based. They didn't do the ascension work. Okay. These two need a bridge somehow. Just like this is their ego self and this is now their higher self. I know that they were talking about how the memories were coming, the thought, the light was able to give to the light within this individual. So it's possible that this individual may not be completely free of their ego yet. Wow, that literally flopped out and landed upright. But they know that you're the Nine of Cups. That your abundance, you look here. We are spiritual beings. We are energetic spiritual beings. Scientifically, it is proven that we have an EM field around us. We have electricity flowing through our bodies at all times. And they don't know what happens when we die exactly. They don't know exactly where the soul is. They have theories, but they don't really know. There's so much that they don't know, but ancient teachings know a thing or two, which is that the heart space is the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. As above, so below. The heart is the bridge. They know that you are that bridge. And because of the heart being the space of love, love of self, love to give, to share, the light to spread, to really the gift to the world that you are, that the money comes, but it's an afterthought. It's a subnote. It's there to support this light being spread. This is the true star, not this chest of trinkets that you don't even know if it's real gold. It could be fool's gold, for all you know. That's why this is what really matters. This you cannot count on. This will never go away. This is eternal. The heart, the love is eternal. So this is something that is well known. This is the jump between the two. Okay. So what, like the ego self is like, sure, I'll take the box of stuff? Or are they starting to get on board here? Because I keep having them bring me back here. They're like, yeah, this is how they did act. This is where they were. This is why you felt like you were rejected. But notice that that lion is in the background. It's not the lion wearing a crown. It's the man who's got like the prayer beads and the lizard tattoo and the lizard on his shirt, and he's burning his crown. He's not wearing it. He's the king. You'd think the king would be comfortable wearing his own throne, right? Or crown. Wearing his own throne. Oh, that would be heavy. Oh, okay. So that's where he was. That's what's transforming, you're saying. That's what has died and what is being reborn, because this knowledge is coming to the forefront. They're starting to see this. Can I have a confirmation of this here? Okay. So if this is what it is, this is what has been changed. Them not doing the work, them still being in their ego, them going, if you don't have money, I'm not going to give to you. That is the ego space, and that is what's being transformed. That's what's experiencing an ending, and knowledge, awareness, awakening is being reborn, because you are the Nine of Cups. Meaning their higher self knows exactly how much abundance you can bring in. And this stuff in the background doesn't matter. They know how abundant you are because of this placement. Like here, you're like, I'm not given to that. I'm not experiencing any. I've done my work. And the Knight of Swords. This is what brought me back here, because they're aware now. The light is on. They know that dark, scary entity thing is gone. And they are doing everything they can to get to you as fast as possible. This is what you are getting intuitively inside of you around this situation. Oh, wow, that's heavy. Oh, this is quite the reading, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wow, because you're moving on. Like you're like, I'm not compromising on my dream. You're either going to be a part of it or you're not. I would like you to be a part of it, but I'm not going to just sit here and remain here indefinitely while you do whatever it is you're doing. Like a definite sassiness to the side. Like your higher self has some, like, woo, okay, that's a lot, guys. Right, you want me to go with it? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna be like, okay. All right, so we're gonna do this where it's like this. Okay, so we have the Three of Swords. Your heart is broken because truth was not brought to the table, and thus you are not moving forward. You feel like you're literally, you're wanting to cut this person out, but then that exposes you, your own will, your own power. It weakens you in some way, shape, or form to do so, which is the broken heart. To some extent in this environment, in this energy here, it's being highlighted that you have been put in a position where you have to decide. It's not decided for you. You have to decide whether or not you're going to embrace that this really is the end of it, because you're not okay going forward. So it's you choosing. It's not them doing X, Y, or Z, and thus you have no choice because it's obvious. You know, it's not like you caught them cheating or something. Like, they're just not giving. So that's put you in this Three of Swords. You have chosen to embrace with your will that your heart is broken, that this is a point of no return. Because shady, lying, manipulation, this could also speak to your past too. This could definitely speak to your history, because it's all around how you write your story. Well, your past is going to take some weight in that. And exactly how many other people's truths have you taken on as your own and that are actually falsities? That's part of the learning in the solitude, doing that work. Like you're alone, but you're not lonely. You have the company of all of those experiences, and you get to pass judgment on all of that. Now this Chariot in the reverse, it's like, I'm not cool with moving towards this ego stuff. No, frankly, I don't blame you. Okay. So I'm going to get you those synchronicities here as I am learning the deck, so I don't want you guys to miss out on anything. I know I keep saying that because I feel like I kind of need to, but maybe I'll stop saying it. I'll say it once. Anyway, So in the upright, it's sorrow and cognitive dissonance. Yeah, you're very over this, being constantly put in this state of having to go through one drama after another drama after another drama after another drama after another drama. You're like, this is the same old routine. I'm done. I'm not doing this dance again. I'm not hurting and being, you know, rejected and being subjected to this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. Like, I want to cut you out. I want to not experience this anymore, and you're not taking me seriously. So goodbye. That's your kind of passion with it. You're just very over it. The reverse meaning for this Ace of Swords, which, I mean, the Ace of Swords, typically it stands for truth, like divine intervention, truth, like a force comes in and it's like hitting you over the head with a frying pan of illumination, like you can't ignore because the divine won't let you. Thus, you know, that light that turned on and evicted the thing from this individual's mind, this assertive energy's mind. Ignorance and misinformation. Exactly. Because you're over here in the know and they have just been head in the sand. And you're like, dude, the lion is hunting you right now. He's getting closer. They're like, I don't want to know. Don't let me know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know nothing about nothing. And you're like, why did I partner with you? What the hell? Like, I don't understand. So then we have the Chariot in the reverse, which is anger, delay, indecision, and interference. So whatever's going on their side because that thing was interfering, it's been wrapping them up in illusion and delay after delay after delay. And it's caused anger and frustration and within you that you don't want to give to it. And because it's major arcana, you're meant to get to this point to cause this to happen. That's why this is coming to you in your receptive aspect. This is what you know is going on, but assertively, it's happening because you're like, I'm done, I'm out. Like, no more. I'm not like willing to give you excuses anymore. I'm not willing to make this okay anymore. Okay, that was poignant. That resonated for someone quite pointedly. Possibly a group of someone's like making excuses for it to be okay. There's a saying that I kind of came up with quite a while back, and you know, every time I say it or it comes up in conversation, people are like, holy crap, that's so, you know, like just on point. It's really talking about staying in toxic situations and dynamics that you know you're not happy in. Be it like a working environment, you know, maybe something's going on with the manager, just the job itself. But people, they find themselves becoming comfortable with the toxin. It's being comfortable with the misery because it's predictable. Even though they're absolutely miserable and they're so wrapped up in it that they can't see that they would be literally happier anywhere else because it's become their new norm. So being comfortable with the misery because it's predictable is, if you're resonating with that as your current experience, this is not a situation that leaving will ever be a bad thing. Like, leaving it will be acting towards a better situation for yourself. Even if it's like a downgrade in pay, your peace of mind will be drastically improved. You'll be a happier, healthier individual. And that's just speaking into it, you know, with like a job dynamic. Nobody's gonna, like, if you quit, you quit, right? So I'm just using it in that example. From there, it's like, you guys know your situation, you know your dynamic. And you're very tapped in, so definitely listen to that intuition. You know when it's like, like it's very clear, like it's a very clear yes or no, that you want to go in this direction or you don't. Do we have another layer down here of synchronicities, guidance here? If I go through this, then I'll assume that we've kind of pretty much got it covered. Okay. Yeah. Two of Pentacles. The challenge with the Two of Pentacles. Don't let one of them fall. It is a juggling. Do not let one of them fall. Well, you're deciding right now by owning that this is actually how you feel, and you're not okay with feeling like your heart is broken anymore and you're being rejected anymore, and you're acting accordingly. You would think that that would mean that you're actually choosing to let one of these drop. I challenge that. I challenge that. By doing this, you have allowed the higher self to come in and make it so that that does not drop. Higher self is basically like their future self. It's like, look, buddy, no, let me show you. Like Ebenezer Scrooge the night before Christmas. That's what this individual is going through. They're getting to see how their being narcissistic and living in their ego negatively impacts everyone. Yeah, because like your cup is empty. You are not giving to this. Or they're not giving to you. They're not giving to you. You can't do anything with nothing. Yeah, it's kind of recycling here. I'll give it one more here. If it doesn't, then I'll assume it's just a repeat. Yeah. Yeah, your cup is empty. They're not acting towards it. And they're content to remain in their illusion. So this is ego here. This is all ego. So what do we need to know about this higher self side coming in here? Okay, the higher self, it'll be communication, rapid. I mean, they'll have to do some repair, like some spotty repairs to come in, but they're doing it. Okay, I'm hearing you want me to shuffle a bit here. Okay, shuffle. So that tells me there's some cards in here that are inverted that the higher self wants upright. Now the Empress can flip herself upright at any time, but to me it's saying that they know that you are not only just the Nine of Cups, but you're the Empress. However, they know the wisdom that they have to give something to you in order for you to fully embody this. It's like there's no communication at all, and they want you to do it all on your own when you're the Empress. The Empress is a lot more present within the love, the light, the emotion. It's like asking someone to fall in love with you, or it's like someone asking you to fall in love with them without communicating with you at all. That's not how this works. That's not humans work. What are you talking about over there, buddy? You want to get an Empress, you got to give to her. You can't just expect her to show up and give you everything you want and you've done what? Yeah, I want it my way. I want it my way or no way. That's inverted here. This, you do all the work and then I'll show up, is not here. Like that is not this assertive energy here. What you have here is, you have a King of Wands that has woken up. I want one more on this King of Wands here. All right, well, it's the Fool. and it's the inverted. They're hesitating right now. They're not sure if they want to give to this or not, because they're aware of their behavior leading into this, and they're worried that you're going to leave that at their feet. Well, my advice is be very different than that, like that skeleton dude in the black cloak. Be very different. It's kind of if you still feel like, you got a little more of the skeleton going on, put on a white cloak. Be a flesh dude in a cloak. Like, whatever, just be different. Be very noticeably not what you were, like, dealing with. Okay, bud? Because this may not really even be like this is a thing between the ego versus the conscious self and the higher self. This person can literally be like all integrated. They were just being oppressed by that entity thing in their mind. Like they were just being oppressed, and now they're free of that. So there's the before this defining moment when they were being manipulated and controlled, and when the divine stepped in freedom and turned the light on, and the after, the positive after. Because fools can go right upright, so can this Empress. But this is them going, I feel bad about how you were treated. That's very, very understandable. Can you imagine what it would be like to know that this is how the person that you were meant to be with was treated by you, but it wasn't you? Like, what? That's that whole imposter thing. It's like they basically project all of their feelings and emotions and energies onto you. And then you're like, why do I feel this way? Because most people don't walk around the world thinking that that's a thing. And they're like, well, it must be because of this, or it must be because of that. And they start to make it their own thing. They start to own it as their own when it's not. It's not at all. It's craziness. It really is. It's a tough thing to live through. I'm sure. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah. Sometimes I put them in there and they're not in the right direction, and I don't do that on purpose. All right, so we're going to move into the final placement here, which is what's going on in the physical. What guidance do we have for the collective still tuning in here? Thank you for tuning in still. This seems to be very, very important for quite a few people that are in a lot of pain right now and quite confused, because they seem to be like, what? The two sides of this, right? So what do we need to know here? About the physical. Okay. All right, they want me to use this deck. All right. So what does my collective need to know about what's going on in the physical at this time, given, everything that is currently going on and progressing as divinely guided remains as is? You can always make a decision at any time that changes this, and so can they. Okay, we have the divine masculine. In this deck, it speaks a lot to not just how we view the divine masculine energy around us, the divine within masculine energy, the divine within how people act assertively around us. This is not just about men or women. It's about energy. And it highlighted quite a bit about how we verbalize to ourselves, like an inner commenter. Like we're the star of our own movie, and in walks an individual, and we have this dialogue in our mind that passes judgment or like is a running commentary, like, oh wow, look at that shirt, or that doesn't smell like it would be very good to taste, but I mean, they're really about it, like just this constant kind of running commentary and observation. Now, when it comes to an individual such as this, a dynamic such as this reading, a situation such as present in this reading, this is going to be about both sides and how they view what it is to be a healthy masculine individual, a healthy approach to assertive energy? What is that? What does it look like? How does it move? What does it sound like? What are the boundaries? How does it treat this person versus this person? How does it move in this situation versus that situation, and why? It can be very, very complex, and we all have our own relationship with it because we all have been aware of our own histories. We have our own library filled with every memory, every moment, every thought, and every other person's opinion that we have ever encountered. Now, if you catalog all of those opinions that others have given you from your entire life on anything, what is the predominant dynamic present within the feminine voice? Here, I am going to highlight 4 more of the gendered aspect. What is the predominant voice of women in your life and opinions, just overall, in general? If you were to summarize it in maybe 2 or 3 sentences, what would it be? And then what would that be for men? And then you can kind of go, all right, well, where were they in their balancing of their masculine and feminine energies? And you can bridge it out from there, but that affects every interaction that you have now and how you view things now. And you can consciously choose to change that. It doesn't happen overnight, but you can choose to do that. Practicing mindfulness by just being aware of, oh, well, that, I felt like that there because of this. Now, next time that comes around, I'll know how I feel about that. And I'll just continue to reaffirm that. And eventually, I won't experience that anymore because it's kind of like on Netflix. When you vote on a movie or a TV show and you like it, or you really, really like it, you 1 thumb up it or you 2 thumb up it. There's also the thumbs down. I suggest, like, just kind of for this situation, adding a double thumb down as an option. But you do that with your thoughts and your feelings, and you do so consciously, just like on Netflix. Your brain is not going to bring you these thoughts and these memories that you have consistently downvoted. And it'll bring you more of those that you've consistently upvoted. Are you doing that? Are they doing that with their own relationship to assertive masculine energy and how they talk to themselves with that masculine voice, that assertive voice? So in the receptive aspect, we have 5 of Pentacles and King of Wands. King of Wands has been very prevalent in this reading. That might be part of this title. Definitely. So the 5 of Pentacles, in like the traditional interpretation, is that this has been something that has been out in the cold. There's been no communication. It's just you're inside where it's warm and comfortable, and they're outside freezing their tushies off, possibly on like a smoke break or something, which is kind of implied with this image. But be receptive to the concept that there is a way shower, someone who is, if for even a brief moment, divinely guided to help them see the truth. Maybe this individual just needs to have someone go, yeah, man, like, I get it. And then they're done. They're in. They're going for it. They're moving all their energy into creating the experience where you don't feel rejected, where you don't feel like you have no choice but to put an end to what your heart wants, longs for, and desires, thus putting you in a 3 of Swords or a broken heart. There's someone that will be coming in, and they will have no idea. They'll have no clue what they said. But this individual will know. Okay, so what do we need to know in the next layer down for, like, intuitively being receptive to this concept? Guidance. Like, I imagine this might be hard because it's implied that it won't be like as soon as you're done reading this, then, well, they're going to be there and they're going to have a message or they'll be maybe they'll message you while you're watching this. Like, it's not necessarily going to be so instantaneous. It's been implied that it's in the works, but it's not going to be like a long drawn out process. It's almost like they were just kind of becoming open to the concept that life could be okay again with this oppression gone, that they could be okay. Yeah, because they were intuitively, this is kind of how they're having, like, what you're seeing. This is what you're seeing right now. They're highlighting what this Five of Pentacles is like for what you're observing, is that this future that you both wanted, no more. This concept of being protective of it, no more. You're not seeing this. You want this too, and you're protective of it, and I can trust you to be that support. You're not seeing that. Oh boy. But you do want that sun, and that's in Major Arcana. Okay, that totally fell on the floor. One moment here, let me grab that. But that is the Hanged Man, and it fell on the floor in the inverted. So that tells me that you're not in the hangman position anymore. You're not putting things into action and troubleshooting things and trying to find answers to solutions. You're done. You're done. Whether you're done because you're fed up with trying to solve all the problems because they seem to always keep having more. But I'm getting a bit more of a, this sun is something that your higher self has observed being locked in to your reality. So the divine, your higher self, they got a bit of a surprise coming in for you, because the sun, it's more than what you can imagine. It's a happiness beyond just what you can imagine. And we have the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. This will, you're a creative being. Whether you're into painting, dancing, music, whatever you, like, gets your own creative juices flowing and allows you to tap into that inner child aspect that has fun in the now, that will be incredibly powerful. And allowing yourself to own that this is where you are. So yeah, you may be feeling rejected. Yeah, sure. But it's not that, like, you may be in a Three of Swords, but you have that there. Like, you're to a point where you're like, this is where I am. And I'm okay with that because I love myself. I still have my own company. You may be alone, but you're not lonely. Like, you are your own best friend here. And this Knight of Wands, this is just, in like what I'm getting, you're not putting up with the bull anymore. You're not putting up with it. You're not waiting for this anymore. You are literally saying, I'm choosing not to be in this frustration state. I'm choosing to be here. I'm assertively choosing to have my own inner assertive, my own inner masculine voice be one that uplifts me, that is positive, that is good for me, which means this particular energy outside of you that is more assertive, if they don't start to match the way that you are changing that consciously choosing to change the narrative of how you hear this inner masculine voice within yourself, they will be left behind. They will be left behind, which is why the divine is stepping in here. So being open to the divine actually intervening, because like, this is like overarching. This is more of like the theme. This is more of like what God, divine, your higher self wants you to know. But this is really where you are. This is what you see them in and how they're moving. But this is where you are. You're going, I'm going to be really happy. My higher self says, yep, we got it locked in. And you're going, all right, I'm not going to be in this frustration state anymore. I'm going to start looking towards at least really enjoying having a more positive inner masculine voice within me, building me up, supporting me. Like, if you did not have that positive voice as an experience in your own life, if you have like a cultural reference, a book, a movie, a TV show, where you see a positive masculine figure, you could possibly pull a little from that, for example. But like, how would you like your dad to have talked to you, or your uncle, or your brothers, whoever this voice was that was more cruel and harsh and not uplifting, but critical and toxic? How would you have liked them to have spoken to you? To create that. Okay, so we have the Six of Spheres in the inverted. Whoa, okay, that totally came out. Oh boy, like that. Yep, and the Hermit. Six of Spheres, typically it speaks to equal give and take. Equal give and take. So you're not feeling that this is a situation that has equal give and take, which makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Even if it is very muchly desired. And there's one hand here that is very muchly more of a brighter color, and one here that's a little more faded, almost like it's more of a thermal imprint or like a fingerprint on glass, like a smudge, but this has actually got paint on it. One is more permanent, more physically present. The other is more trace, like barely there. Yeah, and this is highlighting for me how unhappy even like you are with this, but they are unhappy with this as well. That this has been what they have been leaving you with, is barely a ghost of a presence kind of a feel. But you have been there. Or they were here at one point and they've been fading, fading, fading. So let's get some synchronicities here. Like, the Hermit is reaching up, up, up to the light, and this space around them is, they're willing it to elevate them. And they may be a creature of more shadow, but they are reaching to the light, and that takes courage. That takes so much courage. They seem to be opening to the concept of doing this work, of reaching for what they truly desire. They may, because of their own history, have always denied themselves the things that they really, really want, because their own inner masculine voice has been so cruel to them, which within this reading, I don't know how long they've been feeling that oppressed by that energy, but the divine turned the light on. They reached, and the divine is letting them know they're not alone. All right, so we're gonna grab Six of Spheres. So the synchronicities in the words for the reversed is stinginess and greed. whatever they've been going through to keep themselves in a state where they could reach, it's possible, especially with that sense of oppression, that they were, their own will was subverted under another's to the extent that they didn't realize it. They thought it was them. That's scary, right? I think that's scary. How do you not have compassion for someone who just became free of that? But I mean, they do have some healing to do. And they're recognizing that that inner masculine voice that they have actually made them very vulnerable to it. So the stinginess and the greed, they may have hoarded the energy that you gave them, and the consciousness or energy that was oppressing them took most of it. So all that was left was this, that they could reach at all, that they could have some impact, some positive impact with you at any point in this, with that thing forcing its will over them. There's a lot of love within them for you. There really, really is, because this was not easy for them to do. They had to sacrifice to do these things, to keep you feeling like they were still present, to give it all. So that Hermit, they're reaching for the divine intervening. So upright, introspection, discovery, wisdom, truth-seeking, and taking time away from society. They had to pull away from everyone, not just you, but everyone, to do this. Everyone. I mean, if they have kids, no. They were going to be there for the kids, but they had to really pull away. Maybe not date for a while. Not really like clue anyone in around them if they were friends or whatnot. Not let them know what was going on internally in any way. The point is very muchly highlighted that the divine has intervened. Okay, so what do we need to know here in a deeper layer of what's going on right now in the physical with this? It's very heavy. It's very heavy. And I'm really feeling a lot of compassion for this being, these individuals going through this. Okay, that was interesting. I have no idea which one it was, so I just went with it. Okay. Woo! Love how that landed on the sun. Oh, that was awesome. So they've manifested this. They've manifested this. It landed right on the sun. They have so much coming in, and they can't wait to share it with you. Because you're Temperance. You're Temperance. In this particular deck, Temperance is feminine, so it would be Archangel Michael's like counterpart. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But yeah, it would be her. And like in this deck, the Temperance card is definitely, you know, angelic as well, but is masculine. So you're their Temperance. You're their other half. And they've had other options, and they knew that this was, you know, it would be so much easier for them where they are to just embrace either of these two wands. But no, they chose the one that had all of that off in the distance between where they are and where they wanted to be. They chose you. I mean, I don't know exactly where these wands would take them, but they chose you. Okay. Okay. They're King of Wands in the inverted. Yet again, another King of Wands. So their need to not have everything just verbatim as they want, they're okay with that. But when they want something done, otherwise, they want something done the way they want it done. So they're not looking at you like you're some robot that must say and do and move just as they want, because you're the Empress. The Empress. You're Temperance and the Empress. You're incredibly abundant. Life is better when you're in it with them. Is there anything else you would like to say here? So I think that, yeah, because you have the keys. You have the keys. These keys on her belt here, you have the keys to manifesting. They can co-create with you, and they know it. They know it. And like, you know, when you first started the shadow work, these, the moon, when you first started the shadow work, a lot of what you encountered was very adversarial. But literally, these wolves didn't recognize you, for example. They didn't recognize her as part of the forest. They saw her as an outsider, so they wanted to chase her out. They saw her as prey, maybe. But now, not only are the wolves watching your back, the fog is covering your path. The water is covering your trail. Because you've befriended your shadow side. You've healed yourself. They can co-create with you. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. If we had to do some basic advice, overarching for this entire reading, what would you like the collective to know? We're just going to do 3 cards and a crossing card, so 4 cards. Okay, we have go with the flow. Woo! Know that when you move, they move. When you feel something, they're going to have their own way of feeling about it and their own experience, that we are all reflecting one another. We're learning about ourselves whenever we interact with someone. We're not just learning about them, we're learning about ourselves. Be aware of this dynamic that's present when you're going through this process with the flow. And with determination, you're going to get that sun. You're going to reach the pinnacle. The pyramids of Giza may be a synchronicity for some. But to be cautious. What I'm getting here is don't overstep. You may be aware that this dynamic is something that is very beautiful. It's very, very divinely guided. And it's fated. It's meant to be, but you still have the will. You still have a choice. You still can step in it. In other words, you can you could overstep your boundaries, and they can overstep yours. So when you overstep your boundaries, or they overstep yours, okay, I like that that's how they're wanting me to say that, but it's simply like, if they cross a boundary with you or you cross a boundary with them, be cautious in how you communicate and handle that, because you both have a history that will cause you in this kind of a dynamic to be very vulnerable with your feelings. They will be very tender, they will be very raw, they will be somewhatly easy to feel hurt, right? So to be cautious with how you handle those boundaries and learning one another's boundaries. Treat them how you would want to be treated. If you were about to have someone say X, Y, or Z to you because you crossed a boundary, even if you didn't know it was there, how would you want someone to speak to you about having crossed a boundary with them? Because you're going to be learning each other's boundaries as you go. And the more that you're comfortable with how one another communicates about where your boundaries are, the more firmly grounded. The Pyramid of Giza is still around because of many different things, but primarily the strongest shape is that of a triangle. It's the strongest shape. I don't know about, like, I have this example coming through from high school. Remember, I don't know if you guys did like the toothpick and marshmallow thing, and it might not even been high school. It could have been elementary or middle school when they do this, but you learn really quickly, like, oh yeah, square's the thing. No, square falls apart really quick. You look at modern bridges, there's triangles everywhere. It's the strongest shape, and you're building that foundation with how you communicate, where your boundaries are. The more consistent and predictable and whatnot you are with how you handle those things, the more confident you both become in how one another will respond. So they can, and you can, consistently know who they are, because they're behaving like themselves once more. With this energy gone, that's what this is. It's a reaffirmation, a reaffirming of, yes, you are you. You are you. You are familiar. And for you on this side, which I'm getting, this is your intuitive aspect here. Throughout this reading, you've been more on this side of it. This has been more their side of it, this energy coming towards you. It's going to be you showing them that even though this has happened, they're still them. They're still who they are to you. They know, and they feel bad about these things. And being aware of that, being, like, if they didn't feel bad about that, I mean, what the hell, right? How could you not, right? Be like, I'm aware that I treated you like this, and I didn't know, and I couldn't stop myself, or, whatnot, right? I don't know why I said what I said, but I did, and I was really upset with myself for doing it. Whatever it may be, it's on you to not let them off the hook. But also, it's on you to give them the opportunity to earn not being on the hook, right? So I'm holding you accountable, but I'm giving you the opportunity to write the narrative, to show me. Don't tell me, show me that you are yourself. Show me that it's you at the controls, not that weird creepy skeleton thing in a black robe. Show me it's you and not that thing. This is requiring action, demonstration, repetitive, and that will happen repetitive if this side is receptive to being in flow and being like, all right, great, you're familiar. That's awesome. It's good to see you again. It's good to talk to you again. It's good to know you're you again. Not, I can't believe you said this, and I can't believe you did that. And, just starting in on them, like, no. It's like, it's good to see you. It's good to know everything's okay, that all is well. Coming at it with a positive side of things like that is saying, yeah, I know shit happened. I know things went down, but it's good to see you. It's a very different feel than launching into all the ways in which they did not do right by you. But it requires them to be aware and you to be aware that they were being oppressed. And it not be something that's not discussed or something that's not known or not acknowledged. Building that pyramid. All right. And that will be today's reading. All right, we're going to have it be around a King of Wands. That's what we're going to do. So, thank you very much. I am incredibly grateful to have co-created this reading with you guys today. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.